Blog Talk Radio.
Carol the Coach. Sex, love, and relationships. We talk about it here.
Carol the Coach. Compassion with contemporary relevance.
I am a psychotherapist. I can be your personal life coach, and I can help you with your issues. There are no problems too small or too big. You can talk about anything.
Speaker, columnist, radio TV host, and commentator. Carol the Coach brings messages of wellness and empowerment within reach of everyday people every day.
Almost 5 years ago, I lost my soulmate in an accident. He was killed in a plane crash. Life just, for me, has seemed to stop.
There are groups all over the city. I teach one. It is a specific way to start thinking so that you shift how you see the world, which then shifts your energy, and then you feel better and you actually see things differently.
Carol the Coach. Always available, too, at carolthecoach.com.
That's right, carolthecoach.com. You can email me at carol@carolthecoach.com, and I want this to be a therapy session for you today. If you are somebody who has compulsive sexual behavior disorder, that is the new term for sex addiction, you may have been in this for a while, and your life may be stalling. It's the recovery. You've done it for a while. You know what to expect. You know most of the players, although there are always new people coming in. And it no longer has that feeling of excitement. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make you eager to go into a meeting. Now, I agree, COVID has stalled a lot of this because, let's face it, Zoom is an amazing tool, but it is not the same as face-to-face. You're not going to coffee with the guys afterwards. You're not going to breakfast or to dinner, and that's what I would encourage you to do. If you're in a meeting that's face-to-face, rally the troops and get them going somewhere social. Bill W. from AA said it only takes two people. And when you've got that, you've got a meeting after the meeting, right? And that's where a lot of the work happens, either before the meeting or after. But I'm going to tell you that if you're feeling bored with your meetings, you have got to mix it up. You've got to follow my second most, and I do mean most, greatest coaching principle, and that is that you've got to be 100% accountable for what's going on in your life. Things are getting boring. You got to spice it up. You're in a relationship. It just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Do something different. If you're a sex addict in good recovery and you begin to get bored, you are this close to complacency. Don't fool yourself. Patrick Carnes said, denial is the first recovery task that I have to help you with. And so that means more than anything in the world, I want you to figure out how to spice up your meetings. You need to make them more social. You need to take on a sponsee. You need to go to another virtual meeting over at the UK, in Australia, New Zealand, Russia, Germany. What do you need to do to get to know new people? I was talking to a man that I said, well, if you're going to be gone for 2 weeks, you gotta get yourself to an SAA meeting. And he said, come on, Carol, this is a business meeting. I don't have time for SAA. And I said, you don't have time not to go to SAA. Because the truth of the matter is most men that I know that stop going to meetings, then they stop doing their journaling. They stop doing their meditating. They just get bored. And when they get bored, watch out. That's when you're in trouble. Because that's when the addict brain will take over and take it away from you, right? Okay, so he went to Texas. He's sitting around. He says, I'm new. I'm only here for a business meeting. My counselor made me come, right? I always say, blame it on me. You don't want to do something, blame it on me. I'll take the rap. And so they said, where are you from? And he said, Indianapolis. And the guy said, some of the guys said, oh, my gosh, isn't that where Carol the coach is from? And he goes, well, yeah. And they go, whoa, do you know her? He said, yeah, she's my counselor. That's who I see. I'm in a group. And they were like awestruck. Now, why were they awestruck? Well, because I had the first sex addiction podcast in the world on sex addiction, and now I'm kind of the grandmother of sex addiction. But before that, and certainly there are a billion other podcasts, but before that, I was kind of the go-to person because I brought information into your homes, into your telephones, into your computers. And he goes, Carol, I really didn't understand what they were so excited about. One of my favorite clients, we get along great. Part of him was making fun of me, but the other part, I think, kind of held his shoulders up a little higher because he thought, oh, yeah, I do have somebody that is in my court that pushes me beyond my own comfort level, that helps me do better. And when I do better, it's because I know better, right? Okay. And this was a man that, oh, my goodness, he could not stay away from women. He had affair partners at every turn. And it took him a while to develop both the recovery skills and the relational skills to get it right. But now that he has, their relationship has never been better. Now, for all you single guys out there, you got it harder. You don't have somebody breathing over your neck and making sure you're doing the next right thing. So guess who gets to take that on? That's me, Carol the coach. So what are you going to do to make those meetings more exciting? What are you going to do to get your reading in? Oftentimes I'll have men say, well, I am reading. I'm reading your book, Help or Heal. And I say, that's fantastic, but my 10 tools does not include that book. I mean, it's a great book to read, but you need to be reading about your sex addiction. You need to understand that your problematic sexual behavior, your compulsive sexual behavior disorder, is created because of your brain. You have put new neural pathways into its way. As a result, you've got to recreate new neural pathways that have healthy substitutions. So how do you make those more exciting, right? Do you go skydiving? Do you take a class? Do you go dancing? I was just playing pickleball. I was like, now, wait a minute. I met single guys just here in the last month. What was in pickleball? And they could come and play and sign up just themselves. What a healthy sport. And very social. And we're all encouraging each other. And the good players are playing nice with me. They know I'm a newbie. I just went to the doctor today because I knew that my bone-on-bone knee was a problem. And I just don't like that. I'm 66. I don't want that. But it's the sign of a good life. And so she gave me cortisone, and she pulled out 15 centimeters, I think, of fluid. It was a lot. I mean, it was a big needle, this much. And she said, now you'll be much more comfortable. You'll hurt later on in the day, which is right now, which I don't, so it's all good. When did you start playing pickleball? And I said, a month ago. And she said, why? And I said, why not? See, I'm a believer in making your life rich. That's the coach in me. I want you to make your life rich too. So I'm going to ask you and challenge you, what's one thing that you would like to do that you've never done? Now, let me forewarn you. I had a client who always wanted to have a convertible, and he had never owned his own car. So he told his wife, I've never owned my own car. I want to get a car. And she and they are in pretty good recovery, and she said, okay. Well, she didn't know that he wanted to buy a convertible. And I know that seems like such a small issue, but it really isn't. That's something you need to talk to your wife about, because most partners do not want you being noticed by other women. It just is the way it is. The least he could have done was to get her buy-in, or as we say, converse with her, that's our relational skill 101, about what he wanted. I suspect, although he denied it, that he did want the attention, not necessarily from women, but from the world. I know I have a little red sports car myself. The point is, they're fun, they're fast, and personally, it's my own little truck. I just put that top down, I go over to Lowe's, and I just put anything in it that I need. He was in recovery, good individual recovery. That need was a great request, but what did he leave out? He left out the relational component of that request. John Gottman says it, there are a lot of repair requests we have to make, a lot of things that we need from our partner. It would have been pretty scary for him to say, hey, I want to talk to you about something I really, really want, but I know you're probably going to look at the downside. Don't let that happen. Face your fears head on and practice gentle assertiveness and say, hey, I know that I betrayed you in so many ways, and we've been working so hard to develop trust, but I do have to say that I've always wanted a sports car, and I wondered if you and I could go out looking, because I need your approval. I know I do. I mean, it's the kind thing to do. More than your approval, I need your buy-in, because I don't want to do anything that's going to make you feel insecure. And see what she says. I believe if people approached people more honestly, they would get what they really need. So just remember that you're 100% accountable for enriching your recovery, because you don't want to move into complacency. So what are you going to do? I challenged you to come up with something that will bump up your recovery, that will reinvigorate it, if you will. And more than that, I also want you to look at those outside circle behaviors, and I want you to find a healthy substitution for what you need and want. I'm Carol the Coach. You're listening to Sex Health with Carol the Coach. And as I say at the end of every show, there will only be one of you at all times, and fearlessly have the courage to be yourself. And by the way, by the end of the weekend, you can start seeing my podcast on my YouTube channel, Sex Health with Carol the Coach. Make it a good one, and we will talk to you soon.